My check 1 2, it's the Y2K Collector, and it's been a pretty cool week. Just sorting through the games that I'm going to be keeping in my collection, at least the ones that I think I'm going to be keeping in my collection of the games that I picked up at GameStop the other day. They gave me these two games for free, Power Rangers and Eternal Champions. I remember playing Eternal Champions back in the day when I had the Sega Genesis. It's kind of like a fighting game. I remember this guy just reminding me of the dude from Star Trek Voyager with the visor, the Cyclops visor. But yeah, I mean, it's a pretty decent fighting game. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers is a decent beat 'em up. Nothing to write home about. But these were cool games to pick up for free nonetheless. This just came in the mail. Now, this is cart only. But I did get this very clean cart only copy of Strider on the Sega Genesis. I don't have the original Strider on the Sega Genesis. I do have Strider Returns complete in box, but I never got this one. So I guess I'll have to try and see if I can find a box and a manual for it. But I do have a really cool pickup on the way, so I'm excited for that. I'll share with you what that is when that finally does get here. So we'll share that. And then I got all these Game Boy Advance games. These I'm going to be keeping. The Matt Hoffman, for sure. I'm going to be keeping those two. Kong, I'll be keeping that, as well as Blades of Thunder. So these are some of the free Game Boy Advance games that I picked up in that bundle. So those are going to be staying in the collection. And then I got a bunch of Dreamcast games that I'm actually storing down here. So I'm using those for case swaps, but I am going to be keeping this copy of NBA 2K1 for nostalgia reasons. I mean, you can't beat AI. I mean, there was really nobody cooler than AI when I was in high school. I mean, it was you were either a Kobe fan or you were an AI fan when I was growing up. Like I was part of the Jordan generation, but really the peak of my generation was Kobe and AI. And I think if AI would have won at least one championship, I think a lot of people might have ranked him right up there with Kobe in terms of the greatest of all time. He might have even ranked over Kobe, but you guys can let me know that down in the comments for all the basketball fans. But yeah, AI, classic. I was definitely stoked with all of the PlayStation pickups, man. Just some really cool stuff. Spyro Enter the Dragon was free, yeah, that was the only free one out of this batch. But I'm getting a Metal Gear Solid Collector's Edition. I didn't realize that this was this Collector's Edition was like 50 bucks. Picked this up for $5. So GameStop has been doing me right. So just a little quick recap on some of what I was able to find. I do have this box that I've been adding to. So I have a huge box of PS1 and PS2 games that I'm going to be bundling together to sell. I've had some of these for a while, but I'm just going to put these all together, I think, in a huge PS bundle and just sell all of these games for a really low price, because there's a ton of sports games in here. I guess the decent games out of this bunch is going to be Maximo, probably Max Payne, Pac-Man World, Spider-Man, believe it or not, Indiana Jones, the Lego version, and Tetris Worlds. Those are some decent titles, I would say, that are in this bunch that I'll probably wind up getting rid of. So definitely looking forward to kind of just clearing out some of the stuff that I have in my sell bin, just trying to kind of clear that out. I did want to kind of just touch on something, a conversation that I heard Gamer Aimer talk about, just when it comes to buying games, selling games, you know, thoughts and opinions on values and what's worth what. And, you know, the hobby of retro video games, when it comes to what games are valued at, the valuations change all the time. Valuations of comic books change all the time. Valuations for, you know, coins, any type of collectible, the values are going to change. There are going to be seasons where something is on trend and it's really popular, so the prices for those items are really high. And then they'll have seasons where they go low. And unless you're someone who's actively buying and selling games and, you know, really active when it comes to like making changes to your collection, you might kind of miss some of those waves, right? And if the only place that you really kind of consume that information is on YouTube, then, you know, sometimes, you know, YouTubers, including myself, sometimes by the time we put out a video, sometimes that information can almost be stale just because of how fast things change all the time. So, you know, with me and my collection, you're going to see things change all the time. The one thing that's going to stay the same, though, is that I'm going to continue to build my retro collection. I won't keep every single retro game that I get in just because there are some games that I'm just not really interested in. But I won't be selling any of my games to buy a stack of like Switch games. I was a heavy Switch collector, especially like in 2020 and 2021. But I really paused on the Switch and I started kind of turning back to a lot of the retro stuff that I had in my collection. And I've really honestly been on a hunt to try to get back a lot of the retro games that I sold, you know, a few years back. So until I kind of get a lot of those games back, I'm going to continue to kind of focus on the retro. And then maybe eventually, once we start to see some of the prices for like the Switch stuff die down, I'll dive back into that. But valuations change, prices change, things change all the time. And so it's really just about keeping up with it. Now, some people don't really care to do that. Some people, they just want to buy a game and they just want to play the game. And that's, you know, that's pretty much it. Some people buy games, they play games, they make YouTube videos about it. That's it. But the cool thing is that this is one of those hobbies that you can do with it whatever you choose to do with it. There's no right or wrong way to engage in the hobby of video games or retro games. And to me, like anyone who tries to put parameters on how you should collect games or play games or talk about games, that's pretty corny. You need to go get a life. Like, to be honest with you, there's so many other things that, you know, need attention and need governing. And the hobby of video games is the least of those things, right? I don't think the hobby of video games needs to be governed by any set of rules with how you engage in the hobby, how much time you spend playing your games versus collecting your games, if you should be buying games or selling games. People are going to do whatever the heck they want to do. It's their money, it's their games, it's their time. And anytime I just see, you know, like folks trying to govern the hobby of retro video games, you immediately get classified as corny to me. And maybe you're not a corny person all the way around, but any kind of critique on how folks should engage in the hobby, all those thoughts, comments, to me, are corny. The same way people are entitled to their opinion, we're all entitled to our opinion, and I will never be mad at someone for voicing their opinion as long as it's respectful, But there's really no way to govern the hobby of retro gaming. I think some people feel like because they've been playing video games longer than others, that it gives them more of a, I don't know, more of a level of expertise, or their opinion should carry more weight. No opinion carries more weight than the other. To me, a video game is another form of art. It's art that you can interact with, and it's all subjective. So, you know, whoever you are, whether you play video games, whether you collect them, whether you buy them, whether you sell them, whether you just enjoy the artwork and like to have it on your shelf to look at it, whether you spend 30 hours a week playing a game, no matter how you interact with it, it's what you want to do. And no one can tell you how to engage in the hobby and say, you know, this way is right or this way is wrong. There's a lot of other things that need governing, and the hobby of video games isn't one of them. Unless you are scamming people, unless you are intentionally misguiding people, I'm not a fan of that. No one has all the answers. You know, on my channel, I talk about a lot of things, and usually I end every video by saying, let me know down in the comments if I'm right or wrong on this. And so many of you are so helpful with, you know, what you say. I get corrected a lot of times if I give out misinformation. And for those folks that are out there doing that, I appreciate you. You help the community and you help me stay on track and you educate me as well. But yeah, just stop with the corniness. I mean, I think like Gamer Aimer said, we're all different. We're all entitled to engage with the hobby how we want to, and no one can tell you the right or wrong way to buy, sell, play, store, show off video games. And if someone's trying to do that, tell them go get a life. You need to go get a life outside of YouTube, outside of the internet, and for damn sure outside of video games. And maybe you'll be less uptight about it. But that does it for me. It's the Y2K Collector. Hopefully you are enjoying your Friday. Hopefully you had a decent week. It's been a long week for me. Really, really long week at work. Jeez, I don't know if you've ever had a work week that you just want to end. This is definitely one of them. I'm looking forward to tomorrow. I may actually make a run up to a game store that I've gone to in the past. So I'll probably try and get some footage of that for a video that I'll be dropping this weekend. If I don't drop it Saturday night, I'll probably drop it Sunday in the morning sometime, just to kind of catch you up on what I've been finding and seeing out there in the wild. Summer is almost over. I can't believe summer flew by, and this is the time when we're supposed to be able to find all the deals and everything like that. And this summer, this has probably been my, well, I guess I can't say that, because if it had not been for GameStop, truly had it not been for GameStop, this summer would have been abysmal. But every grail that I found this summer, every high dollar quality game, oddly enough, for this summer was located at GameStop. So GameStop saved my summer when it comes to quality pickups. Just because I have not had any luck at most retro game stores, just because prices are still really high, and everything is market value, and most retro game stores in my area aren't giving any discounts. At least at GameStop, you know, you get the buy two get one, you've got the, you know, the different promotions and coupons and points that you can apply. Most retro game stores do not give you any of that, at least not the ones near me. And so because of that, GameStop has been my saving grace. Perhaps you have game stores near you where you've been able to snag some amazing deals. And if that's the case, I'd love to hear about it down in the comments. But until then, it's the Y2K Collector. I'll catch you in the next video. Take it easy.